They gotta be one of the dumbest teams that I've ever seen.
Looked like straight trash. Sanitation workers wouldn't have wanted to show up.
You look awful. He ain't got this.
We are at that point in the NFL offseason where everyone is feeling very optimistic about their team. However, in this series, we bring everybody back down to earth and explain why your team is actually not that good. In today's video, it's going to be an easy one because we are covering the New York Giants.
You Giants, you suck! The game just started already. It's 10-0 Baltimore!
The Giants played football this Sunday, and they lost.
And their most optimistic fans probably think they'll win 8 or 9 games. And the realistic ones are probably hoping for 7.
Oh my god, no, don't tell me everything. What? No!
So while it's not hard to do, I will give out the disclaimer as always. I will not be talking about any positive points about the teams, only the negative parts of the teams because, once again, there's too much positivity in this world. I don't think it takes a genius to realize this first one, or really most of these on this team. But the biggest weakness on the New York Giants is, drumroll please, the quarterback. Or quarterbacks, you know, whatever you want. All of them. They're all bad. Looking at last year, some of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
I apologize for that. That's the best we can do. That's a sad problem.
Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback for 6 of those games. Not that many, but still. In those 6 games, how many touchdowns did he have? Did he have 1 per game? Did he have 2 per game? 3 per game? No, he had 1 every 3 games. That's right, he threw for 2 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions in 6 games.
What the hell?
And not surprisingly, he went 1-5. And when the Giants front office saw this masterful performance, they decided, hey, we're going to keep him for another year, and no, we're not going to draft any quarterback with our number 6 overall pick.
I mean, this is what we do.
Yes, sir. It's what we do. It's what we've always done.
So, did a different quarterback come in and shine? And yes, they did. Tommy DeVito, you know, America's quarterback for a few weeks. He played for 6 weeks. He went 3-3. Not that bad. 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Honestly, not that bad. But his QBR was 23.7. And when you look further into the film, he's not that good. Maybe an acceptable backup quarterback, but to build your franchise around, he's not that guy. Fun story though. But back to the point. The biggest weakness, of course, Daniel Jones. As an Eagles fan, I love him. I hope he signs another extension with the New York Giants. And he is quite simply one of the top 5 or 6 worst quarterbacks in the NFL. The Giants' second weakness is their running back group. And the running back group is worse than I could have possibly imagined. So we all think Saquon Barkley, but of course he signed with the Eagles. So did they replace him with somebody? Yes. Did they replace him with somebody good? No. They signed Devin Singletary, who is a very, very average running back in the NFL. I would guess more of a running back 2 in the NFL, but you know, he's their running back 1. And reading off this list of running backs on the Giants roster, it may be even worse than the Cowboys in this video that I did previously. But their running back depth chart is Devin Singletary, Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and Jashawn Corbin.
Most of these guys never had a prime.
This guy here is dead.
Now, if you knew more than 2 of those players, you've been watching too much Giants football and you need to calm down. But these are absolutely, at least from the outside, dreadful running backs, a dreadful running back core. If I was a decent running back free agent, I would just love to go to the Giants. Yeah, maybe not, because that means I'm going to lose a lot of games. But plenty of time to play. So honestly, these first 2 points have been too easy, and it's just going to keep on going because the Giants are just that bad. The third weakness, staying on offense, because might as well. The wide receivers. The wide receivers for the Giants are very bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you want to lose? I throw, you catch. It's not that hard, okay?
They have a few people who I would say have promise. They just drafted Malik Neighbors with the 6th overall pick. Ton of promise. And apparently he's looked great at practice. But when you're reading the rest, it's so many guys who should be wide receiver like 3s and 4s and 5s and not on the team. When you add a weak quarterback with a weak wide receiver group, you get a terrible offense. And to complete this picture, do they at least have a good O-line? Unfortunately, that is the next problem. Problem number 4 is their offensive line.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Now they do have a few good players, such as Andrew Thomas is a very good left tackle. However, the other tackle, Evan Neal, they spent very high draft capital on him, and he has been a huge disappointment. The rest is average on the offensive line. So, a below average overall offensive line. 1 great, 1 terrible, 3 okay. It's not going to cut it when you also have a bad quarterback, bad running backs, bad wide receivers, and you know it might as well complete this picture. Do they have a good tight end? Well, Darren Waller actually just retired, or at least we think he retired. He released a song.
I mean, that sounded as bad as I sound. I sound no better than that, but that was really, really, really bad.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And it appears as if he's retired. So they don't have a tight end either. And in case you haven't been paying attention, this is the new record for most weaknesses on an NFL side of the field. And that is 9 out of 11 starters on the offensive side of the ball being a weakness to the Giants. And this has just been a painful video for the Giants so far. But it will keep on going. And even though I'm sure you watched a ton of Giants games last year, whether you wanted to or not, they are one of America's favorite media markets, or at least the NFL's favorite media markets. The New York Giants offense scored 15.6 points per game. That is good for the 3rd worst in the NFL, only above the Patriots and the Panthers. The talent spoke for itself on the Giants offense. If there was one upside, I would say they didn't turn the ball over that much. Now on the other side of the ball, the defense, it's honestly way better. It is so much better than their offense, but it still has weaknesses. Strong point, the defensive line. The weakest point to me is the backfield. They do have some talent, but not much. For example, cornerback 2. Of course, you need at least 2 good corners in the NFL. There are so many good teams with 2 good wide receivers, such as the Eagles in the same division. But the Giants really only have one who's worth anything. Banks, the guy they drafted, I think last year, is pretty decent, but just no one else in the backfield is good. And they also lost their best safety with McKinley going to the Packers. And the final weakness for the Giants in this video is another qualitative problem. And if you don't know what that big word means, it means you can't really find it with numbers. It's more like up in the air. I know that was a bad explanation, but that's all I've got right now. But more specifically in this example is a terrible culture in the Giants. You may think of them as a team that wins the Super Bowl every once in a while, who goes to the playoffs some, but looking at them over the past 13 years, since 2010, they have had one season where they had more than 9 wins in the regular season. They were 11-5 in 2016. Every other year from 2011 onward, they were 9-7 or worse. To make things worse, Barkley, who was drafted in 2018, had one season on the Giants where he had more than 9 wins. This just shows that the whole team, from top to bottom, just does not know how to win. So that has to mean something. The last time they won the NFC East was 2011. It's just a team full of failure for the past decade. And as an Eagles fan, I hope it keeps up. But anyways, that was the harsh truth on the Giants roster, but I'm sure you already knew just how bad they were. It was kind of funny that their entire offense was a weakness. But anyways, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. I'm trying to grow the channel as best as I can, and I will see you later.